When Karma came out with their MTN10 distortion pedal, it made perfect sense for how I was playing at the time, and it came with a ringing endorsement from Tim Pierce, who if you're not a fan of, you should be. Go check out his channel. Some people say it does a similar thing to a blues driver, but you get a nice 3-band EQ and a nice true bypass. It's a great pedal. So I immediately went out and bought it. Sounds awesome, does what I want it to. Then they came out with the Karma ODR10, which is sort of an exact copy of Tim Pierce's old Nobles pedal. And it's great too. In fact, I think I might even like it more. But they just came out with something recently that they sent me that is simply awesome. And it's both pedals put together. Take a look at this. You have a master bypass and then an on and off switch for each pedal, but there's a lot more under the hood than that. If you hold down your master bypass button, you activate a clean boost with a volume pot here. So it's like 3 pedals in one, which is really, really awesome. And it does some other really cool stuff. It has a blend circuit, so you can blend the 2 pedals together in parallel, which I think might actually be the coolest sound in this pedal. Because then it's sort of like if you like an overdrive, but you just need a little bit more of like the grit character of a distortion, you can just dial it in with the blend pot, or vice versa. If you want a distortion sound with a little bit of overdrive character, you can use that, and it's awesome. It has a switch to stack them in either direction, so you can go overdrive into distortion or vice versa. And overall, the build quality is amazing. I really love this brand. Heavy duty, great switches, great tone. So I'll be using this on the road a lot. So let's check out some tones that we can dial in with this pedal. All right, now this is sort of the demo portion of the video where I'm going to run through some tones and features of the machine shop by the awesome people over at Karma. They were nice enough to send me this pedal to check out, and I've really been enjoying it. Now normally I like a pedal like this through a tube amp just because of the way it feels and responds and sort of the air moving and things like that. And that'll cause me to set things differently and go for different things. But I just happen to be using for this video what I had at home. So I've got a Mesa Boogie Studio preamp, which is an old tube preamp from the glory days of Rack. Steve Lukather and Dan Huff and people like that used it, especially for like clean tones. You get a really nice Fendery clean tone. And so on. So we're going to use that as our bass. So we'll start with the ODR. We'll add that to this sound. So let me fire up the clean tone real quick. So that's the bridge pickup of this Les Paul. Now we're going to add this. So you can hear it's a real natural sounding overdrive. Sort of sounds like an exploding combo amp, which I really like. Now this is it's sort of a rebuild or an exact copy of Tim Pierce's personal Nobles pedal that he's had forever. And those vintage units are basically impossible to find for any reasonable amount of money. So this is a really good option. Plus it's true bypass and very rugged. So that's a really nice sound. Let's try a lot of drive and see what we get there. Sort of gets more spongy, saturated. Now let's dial the drive down to more of like a leave it on all the time sort of sound. Cool. Let's move on to the other side, the MTN. This is our distortion side. Some gain. Sounds like what you would expect. It's very much the Distortion circuit. It's nice with the volume knob. Nice, it interacts with the volume box well, especially in the middle position here. I like this a lot. Cool. So now we're going to explore stacking the two pedals. So obviously you're just going to get a bunch of gain. So in this one we have it going from the ODR to the MTS. So you get like this really kind of cooking high gain tone. Still has a good response to the pick. It's very, very fat, especially through this Fender style clean sound. That's fine, we don't need it. All right, we can also stack it in the opposite direction. So now we have the MTN going into ODR. Different character. pretty rad. Now here's my favorite feature. It's the blend. So now you get the character both pedals in parallel rather. So let's just kind of dial them moderately here. I really like this a lot. Because you get the character of both. I especially like this for rhythmy stuff because you get sort of like the bite of distortion, but like the softness and character and warmth of overdrive. Cool. So now we also have a clean boost. So we're going to check that out on the ODR one. Got the clean boost on. It's a nice boost. So now here's just the clean boost. Pretty transparent. That's kind of a nice lead it on its own too. So now let's try it with the distortion side. All three together. All right, that's the Karma Machine Shop. It's an awesome pedal. It's again, it's got basically your Nobles and your Distortion in one with a clean boost, and you can blend them in parallel. You can stack them in series either direction, and it's really just a useful tool. I especially like the blend control, running them in parallel for like a very unique drive sound. It's an awesome option to have. And you can also run the clean boost on its own, so it's a whole pile of pedals in one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good night.